Sean Air Jordan. We put it on paper and made it become reality. Now, the Comic Book Hall of Fame online, we started the movement in June of '08. And well, we're still going strong. Every year we get 3,000 to 5,000 more fans. We're up to 20,000 fans online. Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Comic-Con. If you Google or use any search engine for the Comic Book Hall of Fame, we're pretty much all in the top 10. Thank you fans have really made this happen. And I myself am a fan. And so this Comic Book Hall of Fame is of the fans, by the fans, for our favorites. Whether it's the comic books, the artists, the writers, the creators. And so it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Now, you have anything to say?
Well, I'm very excited about this because this is an actual thing that will be happening. There has not ever been an idea like this. It's been like blinded by, people with money that could have made this happen a long time ago. But this man right here has had a vision and he's bringing it to life. And he's going to tell you more about this. And it's one thing to have like the Eisner Awards, but to have a Comic Book Hall of Fame that's going to engulf the whole entertainment industry. We're looking that it's going to take in the movies, take in anime, take in, like you said, writers.
The Comic Book Hall of Fame,
Because
pretty much says it all.
It is a movie-making industry. I mean, the movie-making industry has run out of ideas, so now they're veering towards comic books. And this is an untapped world, especially now, especially with the creators and the writers and the artists. They're bringing it to life. So it is a very big industry right now.
Now, I want to touch on something that Sean brought up. The thought process behind the Comic Hall of Fame. I'm sure that somewhere in the late 70s or 80s, somebody had the idea. I know that's when the idea came to me. It came to me when I was in college. I was a sophomore, it was 1989. And I thought like everyone else. I just figured that somebody would come along and do it. And then years passed and friends of mine came to me and said, there still isn't a Comic Book Hall of Fame. So that's when I was like, well, maybe it is up to me to do it, which I'm honored. I'll do it. And in 1999, I secured the name. Still a little immature, not enough emotional maturity or experience to really get it going for real from the business side of things. So that's the tough part, the business side of things, because that's how you have to make things happen in reality. Make it effective and make it cost effective. So from 99 to 2003, it was just myself, really. I had my ideas on how the hall should work, and I experimented. I mean, original ideas that no one else is doing right now, as far as Hall of Fames go, or even museums. And I experimented small, and it worked. And it worked beautifully, beyond my imagination. So everyone knows that when something works small, it's going to work big. These ideas will work big. I've been across the country in the last 4 years, from here to Phoenix, Arizona, meeting all the professionals. A lot of people online, some, speculating, think I'm just some kind of fanboy getting autographs. Well, yeah, I did get the autographs. I do want to let the professionals know that, hey, we're starting a Comic Book Hall of Fame. It's online right now, and it's moving fast. I mean, every year we're taking in 3,000 to 5,000 people as they find out about us, because there's millions of fans. I can't get in contact with millions of fans all at once. It's impossible. So we've been building this up, and now 4 years later, we are at the point where, the annual event. Now, a lot of you guys don't know this, but I'm going to bring you guys up to speed on where we're at right now. Okay, last month, we submitted a panel submission form to the New York Comic Con, Robert Reed Exhibitions, to hold the unveiling of the Comic Book Hall of Fame Induction Awards this October at New York Comic Con. They have stated they will get back to us on August 7th, one way or the other, yes or no. So we're waiting on that. Now, in the meantime, as part of the plan, because the Comic Book Hall of Fame for me is really my life now. I have left my job to do nothing but the Comic Book Hall of Fame. And in the last 3 months, we have made tremendous progress. Exciting news, really. Dealing with the hall itself, I put together a presentation proposal and sent that, and this is the big news. Nobody knows this right now. There are only 2 cities that know about each other that I sent these proposals to. But in reality, we sent the proposals to 5 major U.S. cities. New York, Chicago, Cleveland, San Jose, California, and Phoenix, Arizona. They're about to find out about each other next week. Because the story, the reporter, the newspaper reporter that dogs me, he got a tip and he called me and I said, you know, his name's Jim. I said, you know, Jim, don't break the story until I come back from Brass City Comic Con, because I promised the fans here at Brass City Comic Con I would break the story here first. Now, what's important about that? You know, what's the big deal about that? You know, it's a proposal. They're going to look at it, they might toss it aside. That's what I might have thought. July 9th, they got their proposals, Monday, July 9th. I heard back from every major city by Friday. By Friday. Yep. Alderman Ferretti from Chicago. Roger, this is Alderman Ferretti. We are very interested in bringing the Comic Book Hall of Fame to Chicago. San Jose, they emailed me. Roger, we're very interested. It's under review. We'll give it to our economic office. The economic office in Cleveland, the man sent me a message from his iPhone. I called his number. I'm not sure if he thought I was going to call him back or not, because I called him back. And I asked him, how can I be of assistance? Because I didn't recognize the name. He didn't say he was an alderman of the city of Cleveland. And he asked me to resend the proposal, and he's going to personally deliver that proposal to the Cleveland Economic Office. Yep. So that's where we're at. Now, another bit of news that nobody else knows is that I have laid down the gauntlet for me and my team. The annual event will happen within 2 years, September 2014. That's the deadline. Now, you might ask, well, what's the annual event going to be? Friday evening, the inductions, followed by Saturday and Sunday, comic convention, atmosphere, photo ops, meet and greets, and of course, the vendors with all their cool stuff that they want to sell us. You know, and you might think, well, that's going to take a lot of work. Well, the last 3 years, because I tend to work backwards, the last 3 years I've connected with promoters and professionals. See, I was no fanboy just getting these autographs. I was putting it together the whole time. I was making connections as a proper businessman should. Because when you approach these professionals as a business person, you have to present it that way. And that's what I did. And they're all for it. I talk with industry people all the time. Now, you might want to ask them, or you know, when you meet these professionals, you might say, well, do you know Roger Elliott? They're not going to know me. Because these people work all the time. They go to shows, they meet tens of thousands of people. But if you go up to them and ask them the right question, which is, hey, have you heard about the Comic Book Hall of Fame? I have a funny hunch that they're going to say, yeah. How is it doing? Is it doing good? They'll know. And they'll know who you're talking about if you mention my name after that. Yep. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. I thought it would take a little bit longer. I'm not an exception. I'm an example. I'm a working man, but I love comics. Like I said, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I love comics. And I hope you guys had the opportunity of meeting all these professionals, no matter who they are, because they are some of the nicest, hardest working people you will ever meet. And they love their craft. There's no doubt about that. Every single one of them, whether they're writer, inker, editor, doesn't matter. They're the nicest people you'll meet, and if you ask them, they'll tell you. They'll tell you some of the funniest stories. Some of the funniest stories. Yep. And great stories on top of that. Yeah. All right, so you have anything to add?
When he first told me about it, I was like, that's a great idea, like everybody else. And I totally got to know this gentleman, and I was convinced that he was the one to do it. So far, and I'm so glad that he found me. So he is part of it.
The Comic Hall of Fame, that's a good question. The Comic Hall of Fame is going to happen in 2 parts. The annual event will happen first, and then after a few years, the building will be built. Now, the big question is where? That's our next challenge. That's our next challenge. We're thinking about that. Yeah. Yes, sir.
What's the mission statement?
Our mission statement? To protect, preserve, and share. That's our mission statement. Good
How do you
question.
see the physical folding? What do you see it doing?
What do I see it doing? Being innovative and new and exciting. We have the ideas, but we're not going to share them with anyone because we know that the minute we do, these ideas are so new and exciting that it will be copied almost immediately. Almost immediately. I can almost guarantee because the ideas they're not really new. It's been overlooked. It's been overlooked. And the world has changed. Now, speaking of Hall of Fames, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is the #1 Hall of Fame in the country. I know, I've investigated. Followed by the Football Hall of Fame, followed by baseball. They bring in 450,000 people a year. Now, how do they do that, Because they're the Rock Hall? No, not really. It's because they keep things exciting. And what's as exciting as music? Comic book services. That's just as exciting as music. And believe me, we will keep it new and exciting. You guys will be like, wow, this is great. Like I said, I've already worked at small. I know it's going to work big. Let me give you an idea of small. Another where I live, and I personally live in Canton, New York. We have a couple local small colleges nearby, one called SUNY Canton. I set up a regular table, just like here, middle of nowhere. I probably advertised for maybe a month in advance. I got 100 kids. 100 fans came. That's just one idea experiment with, and it worked. And then I tried another idea. Again, the same response, 100 to 150 people came. And then when I finally started hitting the shows, we experimented a little bit there without anyone realizing it. It just kept snowballing, got bigger and bigger. Where I grew up in Syracuse, New York, the local promoter didn't want me there because we were stealing the show. We didn't mean to, it's just the way it turned out. So I already know these ideas catch on, and they catch on fast, and it draws people. It draws their attention, it draws them. Yep. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I have some of the entries obviously are going to be quite obvious, but after you get past the big names, what kind of criteria do you have for inducting into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, the criteria for the Hall of Fame is, let me think about that. We do have them. Okay, there's longevity. How long did this person work in the industry? And then what kind of impact? Some people will have larger impacts than others, but then there's the impacts that we don't know about. Like an inker, for instance. Like, how many people know Joe Sinnott as an inker? The Fantastic Four. Or only 2. But the rest of you don't realize that Joe Sinnott is considered one of the greatest inkers in comics of all time. And that says something. Yeah, so longevity, impact, creator. Did they create anything for comics? You know? And what I mean by creation, not just the characters, but the way the comics were presented. Like Jim Steranko, for instance. For his first full year at Marvel, a historian counted and cited 257 different ways he drew a panel for the first time in comic book history, including the blank word bubble that he made spikes for to show that the character was saying something cold and mean, but he left it blank because of the comics code authority. Yeah, so it's things of that nature. It's things of that nature, and we're definitely including everyone. From the writers, inkers, creators, letterers, and the colors. Yep. Now, let me think. Well, I guess I already touched on that. Thought I had more. Yes, sir.
Do the fans have a say in who gets to go in? Like if most of your fans say we want
Absolutely, because we are the fans, by the fans, for the and the professionals. Yep. Because we do plan to put together. We are putting together right now. It's in the process. We are putting together a panel, Comic Book Hall of Fame panel. So if you fans may have your voices heard, the panel will go with the flow. Will not be denied. Yes, ma'am.
The cities you mentioned, you're looking at those cities for the home base, I'm assuming?
We are looking at them for the home base. You jogged my memory what I wanted to talk about. We have asked them for the home base and to partner with us because the city of Cleveland, they actually have the jump on everybody because the partnership we offer is similar to that of the city of Cleveland. Now, this is the city of Cleveland. Gave Rockwell.
Would you consider Waterbury since the comic book was created in Waterbury?
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
There's a lot of competition.
the comic book was printed here in Waterbury. That's true. I believe that the comic book though was created in New York. The title of The Yellow Kid, and that's where the phrase comic book came from The Yellow Kid. There's actually another book printed in Boston from the 1850s, The Adventures of Uncle, I can see the title, The Adventures of Old Uncle something Buck. And it's actually the first book to have, there was stuff done in the 1800s, right? But this book is definitive. It's actually the first time panels are used, word bubbles are used, thought bubbles are used. Yeah, and they haven't confirmed that that's the first comic book. They're kind of leery about it, but to me, that's where that style came from. That's the only example from the 1800s that carried forward to like The Yellow Kid, and then of course in the comics and Sunday comics and things of that nature. Yeah, but yeah, I would definitely consider Waterbury, and that's also in the works. We're talking. Yep. Any more questions? Is there anything I left out? Not yet. We didn't want them thinking that we're just a bunch of bums with our hands out. Because like I said, this is business. We have to build this up first. They're fickle, and they have every right to be. Because anybody can have good intentions. I don't hold anything against them for it. That's the way it is. I accept it, and I know what to do. That's why we have to build this up first. And believe me, once it gets rolling, and they see we're doing nothing but good for comics, they'll come. They'll come. Once these people start talking, they'll come. Yep. Yes, sir.
You're including the creators, but what about the creations themselves? Will there be a section for the first particular series or
The
character?
comic books themselves and the characters that they follow, it'll be
Yeah.
thematic. Let's see. Any comic book Hall of Fame, we're talking physical site. We'll have, of course, the best. We have to. That's why we're the Comic Book Hall of Fame. So if you want to come see the first Superman, it'll be there. First Batman, it'll be there. And everything else. But of course, like I said, we're going to keep it lively, rotate out, become thematic, have different displays, different exhibits. And I wish I could talk more about the things that we're going to do which attach to that, but I won't. Not until we're up and running. And then the whole world will know. Because like the Rock Hall, I put together the numbers. Some people agree, some people don't agree. When I did my study for the last 3 years and put it in this presentation, I've concluded that throughout the whole country, there are 12 million comic book fans. Now, what do I mean by fans? Because part of that group has a broad scale. But there's readers, there's collectors, and even among collectors, that breaks down to your average collector, above average, to a super collector, which as we all know, goes to these fabulous auctions and drops 50 grand at the drop of a hat. Which the average fan, which we are, we don't, but we admire. Keeps everything going. And now, if you take the whole population of the country, which is 300 million, we're talking 3.5% of the country. That's without the movies. That's without the group of people that just buy comic book related items. And the comic book fans also includes people that stop buying comics because they have 8 boxes in their house and they don't have any more room. It doesn't mean we stop loving comics. It just means we don't buy them anymore. That was our time, Some people, like me, I don't buy Amazing Spider-Man anymore because I'm a John Romita fan. I love John Romita's Spider-Man. That's what I grew up with. That's what I'm connected to. It's great that Todd McFarlane did Spider-Man. I'm glad everybody brought him back. I was happy to see that, but it doesn't necessarily mean I would go out and buy it. So that's that group of people. So don't let anyone tell you that there isn't 12 million fans. One person wrote to me and said, how could you say that there's only 100,000, there's less than 100,000 readers? I said, well, if there's less than 100,000 readers, how come 180,000 people showed up in San Diego? Or 30,000 in Phoenix, Comic-Con? Or another 100,000 in Long Beach, and so on, and another 100,000 at New York? What, are the same people moving around? I don't think so. All right, any other questions? All right, well, I've pretty much said my piece. I hope you guys like the progress. Come up and check out the awards. Yep. And thank you very much for coming.
I was hoping to hear back from the panelists about who the other guy was and to get an update on the Comic Book Hall of Fame. They didn't respond to my tweet. Well, I've been able to tell from Facebook, MySpace, yes, they're on MySpace, and Twitter. I can't be sure where they are, but they do seem to be collecting comics, or at least images of them, and they are still working to get the Hall of Fame up and running. Stay tuned to BW Media Spotlight, and if I learn anything, I'll let you know.